Chicago, cause I ain't no fucking bitch. Alright, so guys, so we're doing a quick video here. Actually came to JDM Engine in Chicago, and we're picking up a K24A. Alright guys, so here we are, back at the house the next morning. I got all the accessories pulled off the motor. So I'm doing a center feed intake. So on the K series, I'm doing the skunk too, and if I'm not mistaken, and I haven't double checked because I don't have it in mail yet, but you got to cut part of this bracket off to clear that intake run. And I'm just kind of looking around, and I think it's always close to where your crankcase vent is too. So once I get the manifold, I'm thinking I'm just going to cut all this off pretty flush, make it look nice and professional. And I think I might just cut that straight down all the way across, even where that vent is, and then rethread it so I can put the crankcase vent in there. That way everything just clears a little bit nicer. And then I'm probably bolt a little piece of angle on here, or leave a little piece or something, and I'll get a Heim joint and I'll bolt there, and then all this will be gone. And then I'll bolt a Heim joint right here to the other side of the alternator, and then I'll thread a rod, and then I can tension it with that. Got the K24 adapter plate from Clutchmasters with the 11-degree heat. And that's without me lowering the subframe or anything, which is going to come for future reference. We'll remember that timestamp, and we'll come back to it when, you know, it's just subframe and everything out down here. And I got a block of wood down there, and I'll pull that out, see how much lower it sits. But there's going to be some stuff getting notched. I'm going to have to notch that whole area out there for the training to sit lower. And I might end up lowering down the rack. I found some, what they call roll center tie rod ends in ball joints. And you can get them in various different sizes or lengths. And that'll basically kind of, if I lower that subframe down, it's going to put the tie rod ends at more of a bind and the control arms. So, you know, I lower that subframe 1.5 inches, and everything's going to get a little wonky suspension wise. So we'll probably go through and get all that stuff figured out. Let's see, I can even go down another maybe 3/4 of an inch or an inch there. But we got that just kind of mocked up right now, and then we have skunk 2 center feed sitting right there. So I might get that on real quick just to see what she looks like, and I think that's about all I'm going to do tonight. It's pretty cold, so we'll see you next time. Alright guys, we're back here working on the Subaru. I got the motor back out today. It's nice this evening. So on this subframe, the transmission hits back in here pretty hard. So I kind of described the line with the grinder. And we're going to cut this whole section out. We're going to cut across the same spot here, and then we're probably going to have to chip back in here a little bit more. Maybe cut some of that out and bring it all the way around up here and match that. But I'm going to try and cut out the rack mounting points and save those, and then I'll re-weld them in. Once I have all this stuff cut out, I'll make a little plate to kind of pretty it up, and I'll weld those back in. But I'm going to probably also lower the rack down, so I want to keep those mounts. So I'm going to cut those out, and then we'll probably set the motor back in there, and I'll videotape all that. But I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. Okay, so we took a big old notch out of the subframe, I dropped the rack down. I actually pulled the whole subframe out. I kind of got some boards in there. They're like 1.25 inches, but obviously we're just playing around with fitting it now. So I'm gonna go ahead and set the motor back in, and then we'll pull that little block of wood out right there, and then we'll kind of sit it down and see what kind of clearance we have. All right, so last video of the night here. So we got the motor back in. It's sitting down a lot lower. I might clearance that, but the motor is going to come up a little bit from the cross member, but I am going to put thicker spacers here in the cross member. And I just got a block of wood in there for now, just for a rough guesstimate, but that's what they thought. But it is way fucking lower than it was before. I know I did that video the last time. I was trying to line this up. So now we're pretty much centered with the bolt for the, or centered with the whole sensor for the VTC here. In the hood almost. I mean, we're talking like 2 inches. And there's an inch of skeleton that I can cut off from here to the hood. And then I can get a low profile valve cover. But it looks like I got room right here still. So it must be hitting somewhere farther back. So I might actually be able to make this work. And we're looking, I don't know, a little over half a finger's width. It might be close. We'll see. I'll keep massaging, and then if I don't order that aftermarket valve cover, I might chop this and angle the front of the valve cover. But we'll have to see the clearance on the cam gears. But I know I've seen a bunch of people do it, so it's getting there.